and welcome to MeowMix, the Carolina Panthers podcast. My name is Steven.
My name is Jerry.
And on today's episode, we are joined by our good friend of the show, Jason Hewitt from Pancaked, Sports Illustrated, and Newsbreak app. Jason, welcome.
Thank you. It's good to be back. Y'all already know I'm a great friend of the show, and I'm a big fan of y'all. I listen to y'all all the time. And it's been a minute, but
yeah.
Man, back, man. Ready to talk some Panthers football and be back here with the boys. Let's go.
Yeah, it's unfortunately the dead season where really nothing dramatic happens. So if it does happen, then it's usually bad news. So it's kind of
thank goodness there hasn't been a ton of Panthers news. I think that's probably a good thing.
Yeah.
At this point of the season. But luckily we've got Jason here, a bit of an expert in the offensive line. And today we are definitely going to be discussing Taylor Moton. And is he a $20 million player? We're going to talk about it. We're going to figure that out. The reason that we felt like we wanted to talk about Taylor Moton was the recent Ryan Ramcheck contract. So Ryan Ramcheck, right tackle for the New Orleans Saints, recently signed, I believe it's the richest right tackle contract in NFL history. 5 years, $96 million. And was it 63 guaranteed?
Yeah, 63 guaranteed.
Yeah, so huge contract. Comes out to like 19.2 per year, something like that. So obviously Taylor Moton is looking for a new deal. He's been talking about it all off season. Panthers fans, we know they tagged him with the franchise tag. So was he making 14 or so this year?
Yeah, he's making 14 this year. And I believe if he gets tagged again next year, it's going to be right at that $19-20 million for next season.
Right. So he's probably looking to be maybe the highest paid. He wants to reset the market. I mean, they all do.
Yeah.
But he's got a legitimate, potential reason for it.
The Panthers are kicking themselves for not re-signing him last year when I was screaming to re-sign him before this happened. And they could have probably gotten him for 16, 17 million a year. And now look at him.
Yeah. So Pancake's own Jason Hewitt. Pancaked, the great offensive line podcast. If you haven't listened to it, go check it out. Yeah, they've been going through teams earlier this offseason talking about the offensive lines and Panthers, not a great offensive line overall, but the bright spot, obviously, Taylor Moton. So, Jason, give us kind of an overall impression of Taylor Moton, and then I have a few other questions for you just regarding kind of right tackle in general.
That's good, man. So, I'm just going to tell y'all right now, in my opinion, I think Moton and Ramcheck are like neck and neck when it comes to, I guess, quality as a right tackle, which should be very concerning to Panthers fans because, I mean, it's great that he's getting paid. It absolutely is because, he's been balling out for us, right? But at the same time, it's like, dang, man, I feel like if he performs this season as well as he did last season and the year prior to that, he might surpass Ramcheck.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And the thing is, like, Taylor Moton's a really solid right tackle. Like, he's very solid in the pass game. He's very solid in the run game. Does he get beat? Every once in a blue moon. But for the most part, he's very, very solid. And so if I were Scott Fitterer, I'd resign him no matter what because, I'm the big fella guy. But at the same time, it's like, dang, man, that money could have been allocated elsewhere. And like Jerry said earlier, they could have paid this man last year and it would have been a solid contract, but it wouldn't have been as much as it would be next year. So the Panthers are in a bit of a hole right now. And honestly, I wouldn't let him walk because the rest of that O-line, in my opinion, is just that onomatopoeia.
Let's be honest. It's Taylor Moton and the Scrubs.
Yep. well, yeah.
Come on, Matt Paradis has done all right, but
he's been
let's be honest, he hasn't been great.
Yeah, he wasn't as great as he was prior to Carolina, unfortunately.
Now I know I know you're not the biggest fan of PFF, but I have some stats here for you about Ryan Ramcheck and Taylor Moton. Overall, Ramcheck's PFF grade is 81.5 last year. Taylor Moton's 81.6.
Neck and neck. Yep.
Moton actually had a better pass grade at 77.9 and run blocking at 76.3, while Ramcheck was 75.7 at pass and 81.9 at run. So he's a little bit better at run. But let's be honest, we need someone to protect Sam Darnold. Would you guys think about trying to move him to left tackle? I know he's done some at mini camp, and Christensen has been playing only right tackle and guard in mini camp, obviously.
It would be a fun experiment. My thing is, like, he's been in the league for a while, and, you know, making that switch, that's a drastic switch. I mean, yeah, you got to switch your stance, and, like, that's pretty much it. But at the same time, like, you got to understand that, you know, a lot of times, sometimes defensive lines tend to put their edge rusher on the right side. But for those matchups, you know, you want to see the premier edge rusher against the premier left tackle. And if Moton's thrown into the fire and he gets beat a few times, I don't know. It might be rough. That's a good question, man, because
go ahead.
Go ahead.
Taylor Moton did start for left tackle for a couple seasons ago, and he played really well. And then I forget who supplanted him. Someone was injured. Was it Michael Orr, or was it? I don't know. The left tackles new every season, so I'm trying to think of it here.
Carousel.
Well, let me ask you this, Jason, because you touched on it a little bit, but what's the main difference from playing right tackle to left tackle? Is it basically just the level of competition you're going up against, or is there like technical differences?
In my opinion, like, if I were to shape an offensive line, I'd like my right tackle to be better in the run and my left tackle to be better in the pass. Or if your quarterback's a southpaw, then vice versa. Because honestly, your left tackle has to be your best pass blocker, in my opinion. Because that blind side kills quarterbacks. We know this. We watch Super Bowl 50.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to the experiment. I really wouldn't, because I am not high on Cam Irving at all. I don't think any of us at Pancaked are high on Cam Irving. So, and Christensen, I mean, he's been playing right tackle. I want to believe in him. I'm not that high on him right now. If years later someone listens to this podcast and makes me eat crow, then I'll happily eat that crow, because I want to see him succeed. But as of right now, he was good at BYU. He was solid, but what elite edge rushers did he neutralize, you know?
Yeah.
So,
the strength of schedule was kind of a downside on him. So would you rather have an elite right tackle and a below average left tackle, or would you rather have an average right tackle and an average left tackle?
Yeah.
Ooh. I like balance, so probably the latter.
Yeah.
I think I would too.
If you have below average left tackle, that sucks.
Yeah, that's horrible.
Even if you do have the elite right tackle,
only do so much.
Right.
I mean, you got to think at least Sam Darnold has some wheels, but if he can't see the rusher coming at him from the left side, he's just dead in the water.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what we're really asking here is Taylor Moton worthy of being the highest paid right tackle in NFL history?
At this point, he's going to be a top 5 paid tackle, period. Doesn't even need to be right tackle.
Well, I'm just saying, like, he would be the highest paid right tackle, and that's his position, right?
Yeah.
As of right now, that's his position. Never made a Pro Bowl. He has played 100% of the snaps 2 out of the 3 seasons that he has started every game. He has not missed a game in his career. So, as far as stability and being able to count on him to be out there, like, he's got that in spades. but never made a Pro Bowl. And to me, that's a little interesting. Is he not widely regarded around the league as a top right tackle? Because it seems like right now everybody makes the Pro Bowl.
Well, I mean, you got to think about the team that's around him. This team has not been winning, not because of him, but because of other pieces. Mm-hmm. And when the team doesn't win, the guys up front don't get that glowing love, except for Thomas. I can't think of his name. Cleveland
Joe
Browns
Thomas.
Left tackle. Yeah.
Joe Thomas, Iron Man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But if your team's not winning, they don't go to Pro Bowls. That's just how it is. If your team wins, you go more players go to Pro Bowls.
I mean, we've had Pro Bowl players, in these losing seasons, but to your point, like the quarterback hasn't been great.
Yeah.
Any of the seasons that Moton's been on the team. No. We've had an injured Cam and Teddy Bridgewater last year, the hybrid, or the multiple quarterback experience the year before that. So, and then this year we've got Sam Darnold. And who knows what that's going to be? I think Jason has an idea of what that's going to be, but
that would be later on in the show.
Yeah. Oh, I can't wait. But, talking about right tackle. So the top 5 paid right tackles as of right now: Ryan Ramcheck, Lane Johnson, La'el Collins, Jack Conklin, and Rob Havenstein with Rams. Mm-hmm. Moton's getting paid, man.
Yeah.
I'd say as of right now, I'd take Moton probably over any of these guys.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I also want to bring up.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I want to also bring up a point that we're talking about $20 million a year. Mm-hmm. Next year, the expected cap is going to go up to $208 million. Then after that, and 2 years later, the new contracts are going to hit the TV deals. And I read earlier this offseason that in 3 or 4 years, they expect the cap probably to reach close to $300 million. So if we sign him to something like this, in 3-4 years, he may be the 15th highest paid tackle in the league.
Yep.
And he could be 30 years old, still playing at the top of his game. And we have him at a bargain basement price, or not bargain basement, but solid.
He'll probably want another extension in 3 to 4 years. I mean, that's just how it works.
Yeah.
But I mean, if we look at Ramcheck, at kind of the details of his contract, there is an out after the 2023 season where the Saints could dump that contract just for $7.5 million of dead cap. So that's pretty good. I mean, honestly, that's really good for the team. That's basically 2 years into the extension of a 5-year extension. So, a contract like that with Moton, I don't think wouldn't bother me at all. I mean, like Jerry said, a few years down the road, that contract looks really good. So I think we're kind of all in agreement here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, for the most part. Better lock him up, or some other team's going to be blessed, and the Panthers are going to continue having bad O-line play. So,
and can we just say, I want whoever is dealing with the New Orleans Saints cap to come to Carolina, because weren't they like $50 million above the cap at the end of last season? And somehow they're signing.
This is why I've told you, Jerry, that the cap doesn't matter.
Then let's sign everybody.
They can, you can figure it out. You can always figure it out.
This Panther team has done so much salary dump the past 2 seasons. Why? If what you're saying is correct, and it seems like it is.
I mean, they're kicking the can down the road, but then they just continue to kick the can down the road. And like you said, the cap just is going to keep getting bigger. So this is a weird year with the cap because of COVID last year, obviously, but you're going to see such massive jumps that, I mean, honestly, it's really smart to lock these guys up. Like, we've got DJ Moore coming up, Robbie Anderson, if you want to re-sign him, some really high impact and important players on the team that need to be signed.
Sam Darnold. I hate saying this,
Sam Darnold, depending on how he plays this year, if you want to lock him up long term, like now's the time to do it.
Well, I think no matter what, we have to watch Sam Darnold this
not
year.
Not now, not like today, but after this season, I mean. before the TV deals hit.
But they do need to lock up Taylor Moton before July 15th. Otherwise, they have to wait till the end of the season. We want to thank everyone for listening. If you like the show, please let your friends know. Please follow us on Twitter at MeowMix Podcast. If you have any questions or comments, you can email us at mailbag@meowmixpodcast.com. And if you leave us a 5-star review with a comment on Apple Podcasts, we'll read it on our show. Jason, let the people know where to find you.
You can find me at Jason Hewitt 50 on Twitter. Also, be sure to follow at Pancaked Tweets on Twitter. And follow the Pancaked Podcast, man. We talk O-line, we talk the big fellas, we talk everything in general. Like, it's not just O-line specific. We talk football. We're not the hot takes podcast like some folks at ESPN and Fox and all them boys. We give out information about analytical football just like we do here. So honestly, anything else? On the News Break Creator Program, check that out if you're a content creator. We show love to local journalism as well as just creative journalism in general. Just put out your work. So go ahead and check us out at newsbreak.com. And that's pretty much it. Oh, and follow SI_Panthers on Twitter. Those are still my guys. Don't worry. That is it.
All right. We'll be back in a couple of weeks. And until then, everybody stay safe out there and keep pounding.